What's happening? Whew. I'm lucky to be here. I'm so not prepared, but hey, I'm getting there. How are you all? I am tired and cold, but I'm good. I'm good. I stayed up last night down and painting until. We're not gonna tell how late I stayed up. That doesn't matter. But I got a little section done on my Christmas painting, so my hand wasn't bothering me too bad last night, but it is today. I think I've overdone it. But I'm doing well other than that. So let's see who's here. Mr. Lee takes the trash and recycles out, puts out a variety of finger foods and snacks, soft drinks, and various waters on the table. Puts some Oreo cookies and milk with white dark and milk chocolate fountain, pretzels, marshmallows, and fruit. Welcome to Diamond Painting with in the Painting. Help yourself, come on in, grab a snack, and hit the like button on the way to your seat. Thank you, Mr. Lee. And don't ask me why I call him Mr. Lee, but that's who he is. I appreciate that. I can't do these without Oreos and milk, and it took my own channel to get my Oreos on the table because he did look like that. Hi, Mr. Almost said Mr. Shea. Hi, Shay. How are you? Hi, Mr. Rich. Hi, Kathy. How are you, Kathy? I thought about you last night. I told Mom I need to call you and see how you're feeling. Hi, Miss Nell. Bonjour, good evening, Jamie, Jenny, and everyone in chat. It's Nell didn't stick to me in French, and great news to bonjour. I would end the live right then and there. That's it. Couldn't do it. Let's see. Hi, Lily. What's up? What's happening? I know Lily called and said, "Who won? What will we? What was it?" She'll have to remind me. We've been in a drawing and neither one of us won, so sorry about her luck. Mine too. Why didn't I answer your call? I didn't know. When did you call me? And if that was today, I was sleeping because I stayed up till, well, it doesn't matter how late I stayed up. We get that with that. Hi, Artemis. I'll call you back, Charlie, I promise. How are you? Then you're up late. Thank you. It's like midnight over there, I think. Let's see. Where am I at? I lost my train of not plate. Oh, okay. Cracking the theory. Hi, how are you? Thank you for coming. I just want one of your videos. One of your talk videos. You told you ate and drank today. Still have what? I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. I like how the ordinance that she funny when she taught her. She felt like her daughter. Her daughter's in that. Tammy was up late listening to the book. Now, why do you have to go starting trouble, Rich? Huh? Why can't you just sit there and do you and not start trouble? Just listen to the live. You're stuck in party mode? Will you stay there so loud, please? At least until 7:39 time, then you can lay down and crash. But if you got to go before then, I did it. I won't hold that against you. Hi, Eve. How are you? I didn't know if you'd be off in time for the live or not. I'm glad you are. Always a pleasure having you here. Tammy, when it's the book club meeting, Lily, I'm gonna start blocking you. I would never block you. And to be totally honest, I had no idea when the book club meeting is. I usually start dozen Richard. Let it out now. Hi, Rosalind. I saw that you're a new subscriber. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you like what you see tonight. I think you will. Jenny's a lovely person. She really is, and a very, very dear friend. Hi, Helen. How are you? I read the list notes to the book. Ooh, Artemis. I like that idea. I like the way you're thinking. I never liked people reading. Let's see. Where am I at? Do you think she will block us? I would never block you, but I sure know how to ignore you. That's for sure. Yep. I can ignore anybody when I want to. Okay. Tonight we have a very special guest. Yep. It's Jenny, aka Kupaki Art. She is or has become and is one of my very, very dear friends. And I love her to pieces. Jenny and I, we are a lot alike in a lot of ways. We really are. Which is very scary if you're like me. And I feel sorry for her. I try to really not because she's like me. But Jenny has a story to tell, and I really look up to her. She is brave and courageous, and I feel bad when I complain because she has it worse than I do. She really does. So, enough of me. I think I'll bring her on. And where did my background go? I did not notice that. Anyway, I'll bring Jenny on and then I'll turn the background back on. Okay. I don't know how to bring Jenny on. It's not working. Oh, there it is. There's the background.
And your background. Hi, everybody. I want to say hi to everybody in chat. I saw everybody kind of popping up, so thank y'all so much. I appreciate you guys being here and supporting Tammy and supporting me. And Tammy, thank you for having me on. It is an honor to be your friend. And all the things you said is what I feel about you. So the feeling's mutual. I look up to you and you inspire me. So I appreciate you very much. So
I love you.
I love you. I'm so glad it's been like, it'll be a year soon that we talked for the very first time one-on-one, because I did see a message and I was like, I talked to Tammy one-on-one for the first time. So excited.
Yeah, I get this message from Jenny. Hi, Angel. How are you? Thank you for being here. I did a message from Jenny one night. Mind you, I don't know who she is because I had to do a channel. I don't know. I must have been under a rock. Was the word
I'm just new to the community and meeting people. So you weren't under a rock. I was just meeting people.
She did I talked to her for the first time not long before that. And this is message from Jenny and said, hi, I'm Jenny, aka Chitaka, or I'm this is very dear friend. And she told me all about you, and I want to know you, and I want to be your friend. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah, I just
helped me talk to her, and you can be her friend. There's she had. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and then a beautiful friendship was formed, and I love it. So
I know it's. I love meeting new people and getting to know them and becoming very, very good friends with them. And you know, you don't want to the larger people other than that. You
Oh,
really are.
well, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. I want to say
You
hi to Angel and Eve too, and then Ellen. Thank you for all the hearts, and they're purple. That's Lupa's color. Thank you, Helen. She may
did
or may
not
not
know.
know that, but thank you, Helen. That was the Lupa's color is purple. So
Thank you, Helen, for the heart.
yeah.
Helen sent out heart to all of us. And you know what? If I didn't see her heart on my life, I don't know what I'd do. You
I
know,
know.
honestly, I'm so used to them. Hi, Kat. How are
I can't.
you? Yes, that's another one I need to call. I need to call some of these people. And I do call them. There's just not enough time in the day to call all of them in the same time. But I'm like, I sit down, I truly do, and I'm like, who do I need to call? And I make a list to do about 2 or 3 people, and I call them, and then I do the same thing the next day and the next day because I want to show all the love to all of my friends. Wait a minute. You're over the flu? Cat, I'm
Oh,
over the flu.
Kat, I'm so sorry.
Gross.
Lee, thank you for your lovely compliment. The reason is I went and had my hair curled again because I had to go to the doctor this morning. I have the crud again. It's not the dreaded C word, but it looks like I have strep throat, 2 ear infections, and a sinus infection. So I felt like crud. So I drove by my hair salon and I was like, curl my hair, make me feel pretty. And then I was bright red again. So I put makeup on to try to hide the red, and I'm still red, but we're going with it. But thank you so much, Lily.
I'm sorry your sister didn't. I told her she needed to talk home with too. She said
It's
she
not
would. So I do need a secretary, Lee. Are you volunteering? Thank you. Thank you. You did a good job. Hi, Christopher. That's okay. Dinner. Thank you for listening in.
I
How,
hope you're eating something yummy, Christopher.
Christopher, I just said he's on the line. He's over already. Hmm. It didn't like one. Francis, hey, Francis.
Hi,
Hi,
Francis.
how are you? How you been? Simply diet. Wait a minute. What? I tried to. Hold on. Yeah. Sorry, Lee. You already volunteered.
Yep, he did. I was witness to it.
Okay. How do I diamond painting YOTEUN? How do I say that, Jenny?
Oh, I don't know how you pronounce it. I've seen the name come through before, but I
Hi.
don't know how to pronounce it. I know that sounds bad, but I don't know how to pronounce it either.
I don't either.
And I'm
Uh,
very sorry because I see your name pop up a lot
I
and I
do
feel
too.
bad.
I do too. All the time in my life, and I'm gonna ask if you have a name you'd like to call you. Because it's gonna call out something, and it's not. That's fine. I'll just put your comments all the time. But thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I totally
Um,
agree.
all right. Now, as I said, Jenny has a story to tell. She had lupus, and I asked her to come on here to tell us more about that because I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about it. Yeah, I really don't. I didn't know that causes excruciating pain, along with a lot of the other elements, and I thought, why would I sit here and even try to understand when I have an answer right here? Unfortunately, you know, I don't wish that it's on you or anyone else, but if you don't mind, like, I'm gonna you want me to ask you a question? No, don't know what to ask, but well, first of all, I will ask this. Well, first of all, you need that secretary to keep them Rory keep waiting to think. Really? Rory is her daughter, guys. Artemis's daughter, and she loves him. And like, sing to me. You tell her I will call, and I will definitely listen to that. Well, I can't wait to hear her sing. It's so funny.
And it
She
looks like we can call her Yo. Is that right? Did I read that correctly? I like
what?
that. I
What?
think. Look, after Rosalind says that she has SLE lupus too, and then the next comment that I'm seeing is she says Yo is good. So I think that's what we can call her.
Yo,
How to pronounce it. So I like that. I can remember that.
yeah. And I saw that comment too about in 32. She named it. I 30.
She's muted, but she's there. Oh, and she went away.
Well, she'll be back, trust me. Where am I at with it? I there I wanted to see but Rosalind and SLE Literature. I did see that. Um, so I'm glad you found it then tonight. I really am. And like you still have to, and if you ever want to come on and share your story, you're more than welcome to. You know, anybody can. I'm open to anybody. Hi, Marie. How are you? Where started though?
I scared her.
Lee and Rick try to get her back. Anyway, Marie, how are you? I didn't think you of you.
I'm right here.
Yay, Roberta.
You.
I
Right.
finally figured out why I go on stage.
Why?
Because I tell the thing, yes, have access to my camera and my mic. But if I say no and enter stage, I get on off stage. No one told me. Just saying. Okay. Carry on.
Love you, Berta. I can't wait. I get to see Berta in person in June, and I'm like so excited. Okay, I totally digress.
I get to see you in June. I'm so excited.
See you too in June, and I get to see Rich, and I get to see Kat and Eve. I'm so excited. It's gonna be so much fun. Sorry, I totally digress.
I want to crash it. I do. I want to crash that party. I'm trying to figure out how. Okay,
so I guess I can start with, I can tell you high level what lupus is and what it means, and then I can kind of tell you how I got diagnosed, if that works for you.
That does work to me. And then I also, hello, you live Florida and claimed her already. I did. We all know who said that. I didn't have to say.
Yeah, I didn't have to say. I know that was Ditzy.
We will lick
her cheek.
Yep, always.
She actually bit me. She didn't lick me. She bit me.
I started to yeah.
Poor Berta.
I knew something wasn't right when Dick said lick and not Dick, because we all know she's a fighter. So, I
didn't officially say hi to you.
I want to ask also about your channel, so don't leave this out asking about your channel because I'm very proud of it. And she does slide mostly on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And then she does
I post the replays on YouTube, but might actually go live on Instagram. So on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm. She's very good. I'm still trying to talk her into posting more videos on YouTube, but hey, I'm working on the guys.
You are. I need to. I do need to post more on YouTube. I just like the platform of Instagram. I don't know. I like doing still photos and short videos and stuff like that. But I do like going live. So
I would go live. If I could have a channel and succeed and just go live, I probably would. Hi, Chocolate Diamond. No, that's a lie. I like posting those videos. I really do.
You
Uh,
do.
who doesn't want to take your thought out of the really? Right? I don't actually want to die. I not want to slash her upside the head this time. I don't know. That's a
We all
lie.
have a little bird of DNA with us.
I only want to snap the lead up the side of the head, not the artist. Yeah, I want to snap Lee upside the head daily, multiple times a day. I'm digressing. Okay, now you when did you diagnose with? Well, first of all, tell us.
Okay, so the easiest way for me to explain lupus, there are two types of lupus. There is what they call discoid lupus, and there is SLE lupus. And discoid lupus is only your skin is involved. So you get inflammation, you get really bad rashes, and that kind of stuff. And it's only on your skin. It doesn't penetrate into your body, just your skin. And then the other one is SLE lupus, and that's systemic lupus erythematosus. Long, big name, but just SLE works. And that means that it has now affected an internal organ of some sort. So you still have the skin problems in most cases, but you also have a major organ affected. So the easiest way for me to explain lupus is you have antibodies in your body. Everybody has antibodies. And let's say you get a cold, and that means there is a foreign virus in your body, which is a mass of cells that doesn't belong. And in a standard body, your immune system, those antibodies, see the foreign material and they're like, oh, wait, that's bad. Let's go get it. And they start attacking it. And your antibodies eat those bad cells away and help you get better faster. With lupus patients, our little antibodies are too stupid to know what is a good cell and what is a bad cell. So a cold happens and there's a bunch of bad cells that are the cold virus, and your antibodies come along and they're like, oh, is this it? Well, maybe this is it. And then maybe this is it. And it just starts attacking any other mass of cells. Sometimes it will attack the cold virus and you'll eradicate the cold with no issue, but that's not a guarantee because your antibodies don't always find the correct mass of cells to attack to help clear it out of your body. So what that ends up meaning is when I get sick, kind of like I am now, I have to be cautious because my antibodies could attack the viruses going through my body right now or the infection, or it could attack anything in my body because your whole body is made of cells. So it can attack absolutely anything. And in most cases, there are no two lupus patients exactly alike because our antibodies attack different things in our bodies. The most common is lupus nephritis, which means you have your kidneys have been attacked by your own antibodies. So it's the most common. It's the one that they're finding the most treatments for right now in research. There is no cure for lupus at this point. There's no known cause. They believe it can be genetic, but it can't be proven wholeheartedly. They believe that you're born with it, and then a trigger happens. So, like for me, I'll be very open and honest, and sorry for the guys in the room, but this kind of goes into how I got diagnosed, Tammy. So I'm kind of doing both questions in once, and then I can answer any questions. But I was 15 years old and I had horrible menstrual cycles, like not natural. And so my mom took me to the doctor to try to get that fixed. I was not sexually active at the time. I was just having bad periods. And so the doctor was like, well, we'll put her on a really low dose of the pill, because the pill will regulate her menstrual cycle and she won't have such bad menstrual cycles. And I got put on it, and within a few months, my body had responded, and that hormone being added to my system was a foreign body. And that's what kickstarted my lupus. And that's what made my autoimmune system freak out and start attacking the wrong thing. So that kind of goes into what happened to me. So in December of 1995, I was 15 years old, and I was like normal functioning 15-year-old, in high school band, complete nerd, all that stuff. And I started not feeling good, and we had our Christmas band concert, and I really started feeling bad, and I got a really bad migraine. And halfway through the show, I had to leave the stage and call my mom to come get me. And she came and got me, and I got progressively worse. I started hallucinating. I lost control of my physical, like my muscles. So a prime example is like, if you cough and you cover your mouth, you're like, like that. I didn't do that. I would take my arm way out, swing it around like this, and then bring it up and cough. So everything was really weird and expressive. And I talk with my hands, obviously, but like I was overly expressive, and I was doing weird things. I couldn't control my legs. Everything was just very weird. And my mom kept getting freaked out. And then I stopped sleeping. And so I was hallucinating. I wasn't sleeping. I was doing bizarre things with my body. And so my mom took me to an ER. That ER just said, well, she's just not feeling good. She'll be okay. Give it a few days. Then I went to stay with my dad for a few days. And my brother and my dad were like, something is seriously wrong with her. So I went to another ER, and they couldn't diagnose me. And I think there was a couple more ER visits in there. I will be very honest. I remember the first 2 ER visits. I don't remember anything until we went to a specialist. And my grandmother, I believe it was, had contacted a friend of hers, and they were like, hey, she really needs to get into this specialist. And so somehow my grandmother had connections and got me into a specialist. And the guy looked at me, and within just a few minutes, I remember him looking at me, and he said, she has rheumatic fever or she has lupus. And if you do not get her to the hospital, she will die. And so he immediately sent orders over to the local children's hospital in Indianapolis. And by the time we got there, I was in a wheelchair. They had to put me in a wheelchair, and they were trying to get me triaged. And they had all my information from this doctor, and they were kind of treating me as a pretty high risk patient. And I remember so clearly, I don't know how many people remember, they don't have them anymore, I don't think, but the old school, like they were the hardwood back wheelchairs that were real high. And that was the only wheelchair they had available in the waiting room, was this high wood backed wheelchair. And I remember getting real agitated because everybody was trying to get me to sit still, and I couldn't sit still. My body was just like wanting to move. And I got really frustrated. I put my hands on that wheelchair, and I went, no. And I went backwards, and I popped out the whole back of that wood wheelchair behind me. And I was laying down looking at the ceiling, and I completely busted up the whole back of that wheelchair. And then that's when a nurse finally came over, like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get her to the back. But I had, at that point, completely lost all control of my own muscles. You couldn't tell me to scratch my nose. I could not have figured out how to scratch my nose. They were asking me sentences. They were asking me questions, and I could not answer them. I remember they were trying to do an IV, and I couldn't hold still long enough. That my mom was getting lightheaded because, not to be graphic, but they were missing and stuff was coming out of my arm, and my mom does not do well with the red stuff that comes out of the body. So my dad was in the room with me, and they finally got my IV started. and they got me up to the pediatric ICU, and they were like, well, we're not sure what it is, but we're going to treat her with high dose of steroids, IV, and run a bunch of tests, and we'll see what happens. But they basically kind of told my family to say goodbye. And the next morning, about that point is where I go blank. For about the next 7 days, I don't remember a whole lot, but from what family has told me, the doctors came back and said to my mom that it was lupus, and they were going to do a bunch more tests because they felt like it had attacked my central nervous system. So they started doing a lot of neuropsych testing and all of that. And in the process, they found that it had attacked not only my central nervous system, but my brain. So basically what happened is I got put on the hormone. Those hormones and the foreign body in my system then caused my antibodies to become really stupid and be like, hey, there's something foreign here. Let's go look for it. And it went on the attack to my brain. So basically, my own immune system was eating my brain away. So I had to, when they measured my brain activity, I had one of those little like helmet things with the stickies all over for a long time. And they were measuring my brain capacity. And by like day 3, I think my mom said, when they were testing me, I had the brain capacity of a 2-year-old. I could not, thank you, Kat, the EEG, yeah, that thing. I could not hold a pen. I didn't know how to spell my own name. I didn't know how to write my own name. I could not add 2 + 2. Could not read the alphabet. I was completely clueless. I knew my name was Jenny, but I could not have spelled it for you at all. I did not know my parents' first names. I just knew them as mom and dad. So the doctors were kind of in that philosophy of, well, we're going to treat her this way, but she could have this brain damage forever. And they were like, so that's that. And so it was about day 7 that I remember looking at the doctor, and I literally said, I want to go home to die. I don't want to die here. And they said, well, you have to walk. We can't release you if you're not walking. So I started practicing. And by day 10, I could take 10 steps by myself, unassisted, without hanging on the IV pole or the wall. And as promised, they let me go home. And they really kind of were letting me go home to most likely die because they weren't sure I could ever bounce back. Fortunately, my grandmother had just retired in December, and so she could be a full-time caregiver for me. And with her help, not going to get super preachy, but I will say power of prayer is amazing. So I'm going to show that a little bit. I won't be preachy, but I do believe in that, and there's a reason I'm here. But grandma took me to the library, and we really truly got like C-Spot Run, the kindergarten books. And she worked really hard with me to help me because there was a chance, my neurologist said there was a chance that I could, because I was young enough, I could get some of that brain capacity back. So my grandma helped me, and we worked really, really hard at it. And I did. I graduated with my high school class. I was in a wheelchair the rest of my high school. I was home tutored for the rest of my junior year and part of my senior year. I couldn't go full days at school. I was too weak for that. I was on IV steroids, so I ballooned up really big. I had been, no joke, like 86 pounds when this all happened. And I was like 250 some pounds by the time I went back to school. So but I did it. I graduated my class. I probably shouldn't have, let's be real. Like, I don't think I had the grades. I think everybody was just really nice to me. But yeah, I mean, I can function. Like if I have a bad day, the easiest way for me to explain it is when you read something across like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. For me, if I'm tired or my brain's worn out, the letters don't go across the page. They come out of the page and stack on top of each other. So like the B would be on top of the A and the C would be on top of the B and the A. And that's when I know, okay, it's time to go to bed. Like my brain has had enough for whatever reason. It's time to go to bed. I was on hyperhaldol, I think that's how you pronounce it, for the hallucinations. And I was still shaking. I didn't stop shaking, golly, for a couple of years. And what it was is I can mimic it very easily because if I get sick or I don't feel good, it'll happen. But my hand shakes like this, almost like a Parkinson's kind of patient. And I have no control over it. And it's always my right hand. Or my right leg. A funny story is if I get really stressed out or really upset, I either cry or I shake. And one time a cop pulled me over and I got really upset and I started shaking and he was like, "Ma'am, do I need to call an ambulance?" And I was like, "No, I'm just stressed out and I'm either going to cry really hard or shake." It's like the shaking is better. So, excuse my coughing too, sorry. But yeah, so the cop was like, "Okay, as long as you don't need an ambulance." So, so that was like the start of my lupus journey. And I did really well for a while. In 2001, I moved to Georgia and to get out of cold Indiana weather. I met my now husband, but I met him on a blind date. And within 6 months, I kind of knew he was the one and he proposed, which was great, happy little love story, met on a blind date, all that stuff. But the wedding stuff started stressing me out. And I was not coping well. And next thing you know, I wasn't feeling good. And lupus patients typically see a rheumatologist, which is also what like rheumatoid arthritis people see. A lot of the autoimmune diseases see rheumatologists. So I was seeing a rheumatologist and I was like, I don't feel right. Something's not right. And they did blood work and they were like, "Come in tomorrow, we'll assess your blood work." And I got there and they took my blood pressure and my blood pressure was like 140 over 120. And they were like, "What are her labs?" And they pulled up my labs and there's a blood test that's called your complements level. And I think they're supposed to be, one is supposed to be like over 3 and one is supposed to be over 8. Don't quote me on that. I think that's what they are. I don't. Mine weren't even on there. They were zeros. And they were like, "She's in kidney failure." And so the next day I was at a kidney specialist, which is a nephrologist. And within a week I was in a kidney biopsy. And sure enough, I was in kidney failure. So the stress of wedding planning caused my immune system to respond. And this time it didn't attack my brain, it attacked my kidneys. So my own immune system was then trying to kill off my kidneys, and succeeding, might I. But I was very fortunate they caught it fast. And at the time, there was kind of an experimental chemo drug that you could take. I was borderline between a 3 and 4 kidney failure. And my doctor at the time said, "Okay, here's your options. You are going to do this experimental chemotherapy drug, or you're going to have a lifetime of dialysis and multiple kidney transplants." And I mean, Steve and I had not even been engaged like 6 months. And I was like, "You can leave." I was like, "It's okay. I don't know what this entails." And he's like, "Nope, I'm beside you. Let's try the chemo." And I was like, I'm good with that. And because it was experimental at the time, it was once a month treatments for almost 3 years. They were 12-hour days once a month. It was right around 3 years. Now the protocol is like 3 to 6 months. It's so much better for kidney patients now. It's so much easier on them. But I'm glad I made the choice I made because I still have my kidneys. I'm not doing dialysis. I'm way better than they expected. So I'm glad I did it. My husband and I, a few years before we moved, we paid off that chemo bill. And I will tell you that was the most glorious time to celebrate because insurance didn't cover it. And Steve, bless his heart, could have bought a very nice, luxurious house with the money that he spent on my chemo. But now it's covered by insurance and it's much easier. So if there's anything I did right, I'm glad I could do that to help future lupus patients that have kidney damage because they could use, I was basically part of a study. Want to knock on wood. But since then, that was 2003 to 2006, I'm stable. So I have good days and bad days still, but no major organ involvement. I have to watch myself, have to watch stress, have to watch like when I get sick, make sure I don't over push my body, listen to it. But I've had lupus for 29 years now. So it's over half my life. I'm 44. I'll be 45 this year. So over half my life has been this. So it's almost all I know. And Tammy, I think you can relate to this, especially is you don't remember life without it. So like, I guess for you, there's a lot of your life that you don't remember life before this. You know what I mean? Like, I know that you've had your chair and I'm not trying to make it about you or pinpoint that, but I'm sure there was a time in your life that, okay, I don't remember life without X, Y, or Z, like I don't remember life before lupus really. Like I remember my childhood, but I don't remember life without pain. I mean, every day has pain. It's just some days are worse than others and every day, you just manage. And I think you probably would feel the same as there are pity party days. Don't get me wrong. 100% I have pity party days. I give myself that 24 hours to hate lupus, to hate life, to just wallow in everything sucks. And then the next day I have to pick myself back up because I can't live there. It'd be easy to live there, but I can't live there. But there's something that's just inside of you that just you face each day, and having a chronic illness, it's not fun. But if you sit and focus on the not fun, then life is just miserable, so you find a way through. It's to make it, I don't know really. It's hard to say because of people like, how do you do it? And it's like, what choice do I have? What choice is there? So I try to put the smile on, and I do have the bad days, but I'll have good days too. So, and it's just my norm. So I've really prattled on. I have not read chat because I just kind of put it all out there, but I'm happy to answer questions. If I didn't make anything clear, I'm happy to. I'm happy I'm here, and I feel very blessed. So, and like I said, no two lupus patients are the same. Like, I know Rosalind said that she has SLE lupus, and my assumption is hers looks totally different than mine, because we don't have any control over where those antibodies are going to attack. It can be your heart. The reason they have discoid lupus is because it only attacks just your skin. I know that it's some people's eyesight, your teeth, your jaw. I've known people that it has torn away their jaw, their bones in general. Like, all of our joints are like crud. So I think every lupus patient can say that. When I had my knee surgery, the doctor was like, yeah, you have a knee of like an 80-year-old woman. I'm like, yeah, I kind of knew that. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, well, thank you, Lily.
What about, okay, is there anything that makes it worse as far as, I don't know, let me rephrase that. Is there any type of diet that you have to stick to? A strict regimen of what you need to eat or drink or what you can and can't have? Anything like that?
For me, yes. I'm a rarity. I will admit that. I do not digest most vegetables. It's like corn. When it goes in, it comes out the way it went in, and it gives me horrible stomach cramps. So there are patients that can't eat meat. There are patients that have no dietary restrictions. There are patients that change their diet and it helps their lupus. So unfortunately, it's still in that whole everybody's different. But for me personally, I don't digest most vegetables. Like I can't eat a salad. I can't like carrots. Oh, carrots are horrible. Green beans are bad. Yeah, so there's a lot of the vegetables that I just don't, my digestive system does not digest it at all. So I wish I was one of those people that could change their diet and it helps their lupus. I really wish that.
So, well, Dr. Rosalind said her task was not different and you didn't so much. And then Kat said symptoms can vary tremendously patient to patient, as well as the triggers and progression.
Absolutely. 100%. Like some people may have the kidney issues and live with that their whole life, and they do have to do transplants and potentially more than one transplant, because a lot of times once the lupus attacks an area, there's a high probability it will attack that same area. So yeah, like some people could have kidney nephritis and it just never stopped because their kidneys are constantly under attack. And that's why they may have to have more than one transplant, is because their immune system is going to keep going towards that. And that's also why transplants are highly high risk for lupus patients, because now you're not just putting a foreign sick cell, you are putting a giant massive organ in place that they didn't think like wasn't supposed to be there. It's somebody else's. Now they do have a really good success rate from my understanding with kidney transplants for lupus patients, but they're very high risk because it's something foreign you're putting in the body. I mean, it's still a kidney, but it was not the kidney you were born with. So, yeah, and everybody, sometimes it's like my case, when I was diagnosed, was the worst case at the time in the history of Indiana. I think they've now since had different cases, but I was the youngest, most severe case diagnosed in the state of Indiana back in the 90s. Like they sent my charts to California trying to get help on what to do with me. Since then, lupus is more widespread in understanding it and learning more, and people are getting diagnosed at younger ages. But I was very young to get diagnosed in the 90s. And so, yeah, it ranges for everybody. This question gets asked a lot, so I'll throw it out there. I think there's some people have questions too, but I get asked a lot about children. There are some lupus patients that do just fine and have children and they live happily. Their body handles the baby just fine and all of that. I was warned after having brain damage that introducing a baby, because there we go, we have another foreign cells in the body. My immune system could respond negatively, and it could attack and try to kill the baby. It could attack my brain again. And it was kind of like the Steel Magnolias movie. I don't know if you've seen it, but where the girl is told that due to her kidneys, she should not have children. And Shelby really wants a baby. And so she pushes the envelope and she has a baby. And not to spoil the movie, sorry, but she doesn't make it. The baby does, but she doesn't because she's put too much strain on her body and her kidneys give out. Well, the doctors literally looked at me and said, have you seen this movie? Because this is the story of your life. It could kill the baby or it could make you brain dead. And now this baby doesn't have a mother. And so I had consciously made the decision at 15 that I was probably not going to be a mom. But then when I had all the chemo, they told me that in there I basically sterilized myself. That if I would ever to get pregnant, the egg was so damaged that it probably would not be viable, or the child would have exponentially bad problems. So that solidified that we weren't going to have kids. And I am considered high risk. So when we looked into adoption, the cost was astronomical because I'm too high risk. So it's just us and the dog. But there are many lupus patients that do just fine having children. So it's not you can never have kids for everybody. It just was for me. So, all right. Now I think people had questions, and I'm so sorry I got going again.
And first of all, I'm sorry about that, but I think you're really good to talk about that. That's a subject that's kind of hard, and I neither know to go there or not. I usually do. I also say you don't have to answer with me and all of that. But you're the right one. You really, and I look up to you. Now, I did that region there. You're not selfish.
I look up to you too, Tammy, though. I mean, I think we all have our weights to bear, and they just look different from somebody else. And it doesn't mean ours is more or less than someone else's. It's just what we have. Like, I admire you and the courage and the strength you have and the perseverance you have. So I think that we walk the path we're meant to walk, and we look at other people and like, wow, that's an inspiration to help you carry your load. But I think we all have something that we have to carry. And, it just kind of becomes who we are, It's like, here's my little backpack of my stuff, It stays with us. So.
I mean, we're all definitely can. We can't change it. And in my case, I could have been a bitter child and grown up miserable and still not been able to walk, or I could be a happy child and live a normal life that I could do and thrive. And now I am having problems now, but like you said, what can I do about it? Nothing. I gotta do the best I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do. I had days, TD days, as you called them, how well I deal with it, and then I say, okay, I'm over it. I'm done. Gotta do one. And you're right. So we all deal with it the best we can. I think you're doing fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Rick said, curious that you need to take immunosuppressant meds to help keep it under control.
I sure do. I actually do. So like right now when I'm sick, I'm on a steroid dose pack. I started today because this burst of steroids will wipe out all my immuno antibodies and let them rebuild. So hopefully I get smarter ones. So I'll do spot things of the steroids, which I have to tell you about the steroids. I forgot a part of my story, but so I'll do a quick burst of those, which is like that 7-day pack or 6-day pack. But I'm always on and will be forever on Plaquenil or hydroxychloroquine. It made big news during the pandemic, but it is an actual anti-malarial drug. that was made in Africa for when a lot of people got malaria there. They found that it helps keep lupus like stable. It's not a guarantee that it won't spike. Like I've been on Plaquenil since January 1996. And obviously in 03, I had kidney failure. So it doesn't mean you won't have a flare up, but it makes it less likely you'll have a flare up. So I am on Plaquenil. I take 200 milligrams twice a day. And so I will be on that for the rest of my life. That won't change. And like with everything, there are side effects to everything. So my Plaquenil, they have found is almost guaranteed to cause glaucoma. So I get my eyes checked every 6 months to make sure I don't have glaucoma. And knock on wood, I've been very blessed. I've made it way longer than most patients do on Plaquenil this long, but I've not had any glaucoma issues. But they do keep a very close eye on that every 6 months. And with the steroids, one thing I forgot to say, when I was going through the chemo, I was with a rheumatologist that in the moment did right. As it went along, he probably went a little astray and I left his practice, but he was having me take 1,000 milligrams of IV steroids 3 times a week. When you think about if anybody's ever been on one of the prednisone dose packs, your pills are either 5 milligrams, 7 milligrams, or 10 milligrams, and you taper down. That's 1,000 milligrams of it 3 times a week. I did not sleep. I ballooned up. My largest was 355 pounds. I was miserable. And, but that combined with the chemo is what saved my body at the time. And then I was on the steroids well past the end of my chemo cycle. And that's when it started really negatively affecting my body. So I changed rheumatologists and got off the IV steroids. I don't think they prescribe those as much now, but that they're learning more and how hard those are on the body. The IV steroids are really, really hard on the body. So I only do the dose packs now for little minor things like getting a cold or anything like that. It's just because what it does, those dose packs, like I said, it wipes out all my antibodies and makes them kind of come back fresh. And they're not as stupid. Eventually they become stupid again, but they'll wipe them out and hopefully my new antibodies aren't as dumb as the old ones. They eventually go dumb, but hopefully not as dumb, if that makes any sense. So,
when I take steroids, I had to, they make me not the intention to like them, but I can't take them that often because, as you all know, I said that I got osteoarthritis. No, I did. That's my long-term thing. Scoliosis when I was 13. No, 11. Had surgery at 13. Well, I had gotten osteoarthritis in the spine, but they're thin. So I can't take the steroids because it thins out your bones.
Mm-hmm.
To take them every 4 to 6 months. I'm not even supposed to take them then, but I get to the point, I'm like, I just said, screw it. And
that's how I am with ibuprofen. Like because your kidneys filter what they call NSAIDs, so ibuprofen, all of those anti-inflammatory meds. I'm not supposed to take them because your kidneys filter them, and my kidneys aren't 100%. So I have to be very careful with them. So it's really hard to not be able to take some things because you're just dying, I totally get it. The steroids give you the munchies, they make you feel puffy, but man, do they take the pain and everything away for those few days, and that part is glorious. So I totally get it. It's kind of a double-edged sword. I totally understand.
you're free that way, but I would love to have days without pain, and I
Mhm.
do, steroids. But, I can't do it all the time or I would. Kat did a proper diagnosis as horrible during was the one positive I see is that although it seemed long, it could have been much longer and like I said, the permanent organ damage caused that.
Yeah,
And the no, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree, Kat. Yeah, it's been a long road, but it could have been so much worse. I mean, I'm still here and I've beat all the odds and I can't complain about that. And that's why I give myself those occasional pity party days because I'm not gonna lie, lupus sucks. But it's, the other days that I find the smile and keep fighting and know that I'm here for a reason. So, and I see Eve's question. No problem. I'm an open book. That's fine, Eve. I was actually on Cytoxin, was my chemo drug, and I unfortunately had a reaction to it. So I had to have a drug called Mesna that like conditioned the kidneys to take the chemo, and then they give another bag of that after the chemo to like condition the kidneys again because the Cytoxin was so harsh. But I had a reaction to the Mesna and the Cytoxin, so I had to do a bunch of Benadryl and IV Zofran, and then I could do the Mesna. Then I had to do another Benadryl and Zofran. Then I could do the Cytoxin, and then I could do the Mesna. So that's partly why my day turned into a 12-hour day, was because my body wasn't 100% responding to the Cytoxin. So.
And I did see that. I promise. I was getting to that. So thank you, Jenny.
Oh, I just saw it pop up on the screen, so I was like, "Oh, I'll answer that really quick while I'm running my mouth."
Thank you. Well, I'm I'm slow still. Thank you. Rosalind said it 30 so hoping people don't get it, but you look well. I could not have children, and she tried 3 times, and I'm sorry, Rosalind, for that. I understand. But I mean, I don't understand lupus, but I understand the children's heart. It's tough. It is. It's hard. And then Rick said, I was just thinking about Shelby. What's it mean, Rick? That maybe that's a conversation. As oh, Shelby, that's the movies. Okay, I've not seen that movie. That is one of my favorite movies. So that okay, never mind. I will have to check that out.
I'm sorry if I ruined the movie for anybody. I really am, but it's the easiest way for me to explain it. So if I ruined the movie, I'm really sorry. Please forgive me.
Not in so long, and I forgot about Shelby wanting ahead of me. I did.
It's a total tearjerker. So if you're not in the mood to cry, don't watch it.
I remember seeing that movie for the first time in the theaters. And I was fine because I was not a crier in movie. I wasn't. I didn't yell. I cried at commercial. But I wasn't then. And so I turned around and the whole thing was just falling because Joey passed away. I'm like, God, it's a movie. It's not real. But look, there's a baby and they're like, tell me. I'm like, no, movies just don't get to me. I'm not watching it now. I've grown up. I've seen the world, and lived life. So it is hard. So things like that did that to me. But back then, I thought they had lost every other mind trying to a movie. I did.
Well, the part in that movie that always makes me laugh and makes me feel better through all the sad parts is like you can see my hair is cut this way, in the movie, the mom says, Shelby's right, my hair does look like a brown football helmet. And that's been my hair my whole life. It's either super short, like a pixie cut, or it's been like this, and it looks like a brown football helmet. So, like, every part of my life has to do with steel magnolias. And I laugh about it because if I'm not Shelby, then I'm the mom with the football helmet hair.
I love your hair. So I like to watch that movie. I'm not, that and Terms of Endearment. That was another movie I liked too.
Yeah.
Rita, thank you for sharing. I sort of knew what it was, but to have a virtual other sharing teacher, I understand it. That was new to it. I kind of knew, but I didn't know. Well, I didn't know. I didn't know you went through any of that. Let's see. I don't want to miss anything. Kat said, Jenny, you had such a positive outlook on life. You truly are special.
Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate the support. I really do.
Rosalind asked, do you ever do, I'm not about to try to pronounce that kind of infusion. So there you go.
I'm not either. And I'm not on any infusions right now, Rosalind. I just take the Plaquenil. So I'm not doing any infusions. I have a doctor that's up in Atlanta that does do infusions, but at this point, we're just kind of not upsetting the apple cart. So I just stay on my Plaquenil. I do have to be seen by my lupus doctor, my rheumatologist, every 3 months. I can't go longer than 3 months. And I see my kidney doctor. I will always have a nephrologist because there is scar tissue done to my kidneys, and they're not 100%. So I have to have them constantly monitored. So I see him every 6 months. So where I live is about 4 hours south of my lupus doctor, and I drive there every 3 months. I don't want to change, Tammy, you probably understand this. When you have a really good doctor, you just don't want to change them. So the drive is worth it to have a really good doctor that I've been with now, 18 years, I think. So I think I started seeing him in 2008. So close to that. So yeah, I'm not going to change doctors anytime soon. So, but I have heard of a lot of the different infusions that help. But for me, we're just kind of keeping status quo. So I did have a portacath for quite a few years while they were doing the chemo. That's the little port they put under your skin, and they put a tube that goes straight into your artery and your veins. And I had that for a long time. Silly fun fact, I don't have it anymore because I really did donate it. But I asked for it when they took it out. I said, I want my port. And they're like, ma'am. And I'm like, I know it's a biohazard, but I paid for it and it was in my body, so I should get it. And they're like, well, what are you going to use it for? And I was like, there's nurses in my family. I'm going to let them use it for their students so they can see an actual port. And so when I came out of surgery, I woke up and my port was in a biohazard bag laying on my chest when I woke up from surgery. So I had it for a long time. It looked like a little spaceship, and it had a little pad in the top, and they poke it in there. There's a bunch of little needle holes in it, but it didn't hurt. So it did make it way easier. And that was something, if people do or don't know, I did not realize how toxic chemo is to the body, in the sense of they are not supposed to run an IV of chemo medication in your veins. You know how like normally your blood gets drawn in your arm or whatever? You can't have an IV run there or the back of your hand, because if it would blow, the vein would blow and the chemo come out of your vein, it could completely eat up the bones. So they would have to do the IV like in a weird spot on your arm in a little tiny vein. So that's why a lot of times they'll do the portacath, is because then it's not the likelihood of anything rupturing where the chemo would spread through your body outside of your bloodstream does not happen. It's a very simple, easy surgery. It's not a big, complicated thing. But yeah, that's what a portacath is for. So, and they're in different places. I've seen them. People have them in their legs. Some people have them in other parts of their bodies. Mine was up here, what they call a clavicle. So,
I did not know that about Who knows? Did not know that. I mean, I knew how toxic it is, but I didn't know that that's why they do the port so often. I did not know that.
I didn't either until I had it. I'm like, okay. And it was very scary at first, but then after the first time they, what they call access it, it's a breeze after that. And you're like, oh, I should have done this a long time ago. So it really makes it a breeze. So
You can't have breast cancer. The third time she had breast cancer, and my other aunt, her sister was a nurse. So she had that port, and she was found every night and did her chemo in that port at home. So figured I learned a lot of the port then that I just think that there are the cancer in the family. I would know that why I did port. Did not know that. Artemis asked, do you get increased joint pain from the dust?
no, it actually makes my joint pain go away, because it like kind of acts like inflammation reducer. So I actually am in less pain when I'm on a dose pack. And then the stark reality comes barreling back when the steroids ease out of my system. It's like you're not completely pain free, but for me, I become as close to pain free as I can possibly get when I'm on steroids. And that's kind of why they're like this double edged sword, because they have so many bad side effects. But in the moment, it feels really good because you're so close to being pain free. And you have energy and all of that. But on the flip side, it actually eats at your joints. Even though you're joint free, it actually deteriorates your joints. That's why I need knee replacements, but I'm too young for them. Because I have what they call is AVN, or a vascular necrosis, in my joints, where pockets from the steroids developed on my bone and killed the bone. So I had like holy spots all over my bones and my joints. My knees and my ankles. My hips are in pretty good shape, which is unusual. It's usually your hips first, but mine was my knees first. So my knees and my ankles have dead bone in there. But I'm too young for replacements because I'm only almost 45, and they can only guarantee a knee for 10 years. So we're limping my knees along. But in the moment when I'm on steroids, they feel amazing, but the side effects are awful. So the side effects are really bad on your body, but they do feel good because, man, I don't know about you, Tammy, but I'm like that close to being pain free when I'm on steroids. It's like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, and like it's heaven, and you're like, ooh, heaven is a little trouble at times, but hey, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it, because I know that I don't for about 3 or 4 days, the first 3 or 4 days, I feel good,
Mhm.
I really do. And I can get an injection, and most people a month, it did to them. Me, an injection can last me 3 months because I can't get up and move around and overstretch my body. So it doesn't I'm not pulling on myself, touching or walking around distances at a time. And so my joints and my muscles, they don't overwork. And that's why an injection lasts longer in me than the people. So
Mhm.
simple.
That's wow. That's so fascinating, Tammy. I don't mean to talk over you, but that's so fascinating because I didn't even think about that. Because yeah, when we move around and all, we're pushing that through our bodies faster than you would. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I didn't even think about that. And I did see Artemis's. Or wait, was it Artemis? Somebody.
But
Oh no, it was Eve said it makes her crawl out of her skin. Yeah. By about day 6 or 7 of the dose pack, I'm really moody. My skin hurts. And yeah, I want to, I'm real jittery. I can't sit still. So yeah, a dose pack towards those end days are pretty miserable. I have to really watch my salt intake because I start feeling like I don't look poofy, but I feel like I'm getting poofy. So my skin hurts really bad. So I have to be really careful about my salt intake when I'm on steroids. And I drink lots of water. It's my big giant cup to try to keep my body from holding on to all that salt.
Yeah. I know when I take an injection or I start the steroids, I'm really jittery. And they'll laugh and they'll say, find you a good book or something that hit the other. Now, I know, don't even start about the book, Rich. I know. I used to read all night long, and now if I stay away from the YouTube, maybe I'd get a book done, but I don't. But I'll get back into reading. I do love it. I really do. But right now, that's kind of not what I do right now. Carrie said she saw Still Magnolia 3 times. Yep, that's a good movie. Artemis said 30 years old. Yeah, and you're sure? Yep, that's true. That's true, Artemis. You'll be forgiven. Uh, I will never watch until into the trailer. He said, yeah, you're 100% that's a good idea. So glad to meet you had to support you, Jenny. Yeah. David is very good to her.
Yeah, he is. He's a good guy. He's older than me, so he should be mature enough to handle me. He robbed the cradle, not gonna lie.
He robbed the cradle, but
He's years older than I am. But we always laugh when we met that he was more mature and I was more he was more immature and I was more mature, so we met in the middle. It's our long joke.
He's a musician now, isn't he?
He is a musician. He actually is in IT. He's an IT director for a local company here. But he used to be a musician. And he toured a lot here in Georgia in the South, Southeast. But now it's just a hobby. So he doesn't really have a band anymore or anything like that. But yeah, he still loves music. He makes guitars and all that fun stuff. So yeah, he still loves it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I made it hard. I have a friend that, well, not just a friend, he's my friend too. He makes guitars, electric guitars. And I was like amazed that, I know they didn't made, but I don't know, the know that he made them for some reason fascinating me.
No, it's really fascinating. It really is. So, yeah.
Captain on the glorious and only 100% pain-free day, with energy and clear-headed, with some steroid tech. Days before Thanksgiving, about 4 years ago, it was amazing. It never quite done the same for me. Yeah, sometimes you don't have the same effect as you do.
Mm-hmm.
No, I do remember a time I did take it, and my body was in so much deterioration pain, just nothing really helped. 9 times out of 10, it does make you a different, but I also pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, where am I at? Yep, it is a tearjerker. They're all talking about Still Magnolia, and Rick said I love that movie, and it's a tearjerker that I like. That's the summer great one. The women should throw them out there. Yep, they are.
Yeah, Weezer is the greatest character ever in that movie. I love Weezer. She cracks me up. Sorry, didn't mean to digress down the movie again, but she's a great character. So
that's right. Rosalind loves your hair, by the way.
Thank you guys. If you
Hey,
missed the beginning, I went and by my hair salon and had it curled after I went to the doctor and found out I was sick with strep throat, ear infections, and sinus infections. Like, I want to look pretty because I feel awful. So they curled my hair for me really quick because I can't make it look like this.
you let your hair like that. Uh, tonight did on chocolate donuts. If you're still here, thank you for showing that the wedding, Jenny. I
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate it. You saw the phone pictures? But then
The what? Oh yes. I think they're on my Instagram actually. I posted a picture of my um MRI, stills of my MRI, where there's these like white dots all over in my bone, and that's where the bone is dead. So I think they're on my Instagram. It was like before I had my surgery, so I think it was maybe June,
Oh,
maybe May or June. I posted it on my Instagram. I think I was having a poor me day, and I posted about it, and I posted about my knees. So, yeah, I think I put the pictures on
I
Instagram.
didn't see it. I had to back and look because I
Yeah,
want to see it.
I think it's
This
on.
I want to see it. That's not fair. No, I didn't see that. I have to see that because I don't think most people posting things like that. So thank you for being open about it. I mean, I really haven't seen that. I don't post it necessarily because I don't um I don't want to bring anybody down, and I don't want anybody feeling sorry for me. Sympathy, yes, please. Empathy, pity, I don't do. Nope,
Right.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
I had my own pity day, but I don't want anybody else to pity me. Sympathy, empathy, love me, just don't pity me because I'll get that up. Let me have the day and I'll get that up and so do you. And
Yeah,
that's
and
what
I think that's like sometimes when I post that stuff, it is I'm having a pity party day, but it's also like, you know what? This is a pity party day. I want to let people know this is what lupus looks like. It's not, because I put on a smile and I fight through it. And just like you, Tammy, I mean, we fight through hard days. And then there's just some days that it just flat sucks. And I want people to know not to pity me, but to know that Instagram isn't real life. If that sort of makes sense. Like we're all here and we're content creators and this is so much fun and I love doing it. But there is a backside to it, so many people suffer with mental illness that they battle on a daily life. And we have physical stuff we battle, which also sometimes leads to mental health stuff too, those pity party days and fighting depression. But I feel like we do try to put our best foot forward for social media and for our content creating. So sometimes when I'm having that pity party day, it's like, I want the world to know what lupus looks like. So it's not so much pity me or feel sorry for me, but more of, I'm going to show you the real side of this. I'm going to show you some of the ugly side of what lupus is like. And I don't ever do it to make anybody feel sorry for me. And even this chat with you, I don't want people to quote unquote feel sorry for me. It's life. It's what I don't have a choice. I don't have the magic wand to change it. So it's okay. It is what it is. But if I can educate somebody or teach them about it or help them understand, if you have a friend that has lupus and they give that last minute phone call and say, I can't do it, it's really not because they're avoiding you. It's not because they don't want to be there. They want to be there. Yeah, I just saw Ditsy's thing. Tell them about the spoons. So this kind of leads into that a little bit. I'm going to show you the spoon theory, and you can Google it. You can Google the spoon theory. It isn't out there. It's started by a lady who has lupus. And it's like a big, long story. I'll condense it to a small one. This lady has lupus, and she's sitting at a diner with her best friend. And her best friend is like, what is life with lupus like? And she said, okay, well, let me show you. And she goes around the diner and gets all the spoons she can find. And she collects them all up. And she sets them down in front of her table, in front of her. And she looks at her friend and she said, "What did you do today?" And the friend said, "Well, I came to the diner." And she said, "No, no, no. What did you do today from the very beginning?" And she's like, "Well, what do you mean?" She's like, "Well, you had to get out of bed." And so the friend was like, "Okay, I had to get out of bed." And the girl with the spoon handed a spoon to her. And she said, or no, excuse me, I go back. She gave all the spoons to her friend. And she told her friend, "What did you do today?" And so when the friend said, boiled down to, "I got out of the bed," the girl with lupus took a spoon from her. And she's like, "Well, why did you take that?" She's like, "I took your spoon because it took energy to get out of bed." "What'd you do next?" She's like, "I went to the bathroom." And the girl reached and took a spoon from her. And she's like, "You're losing a spoon because you're going to the bathroom?" And she's like, "Yes, it takes energy and it takes effort to go to the bathroom." She's like, "What'd you do next?" "I brushed my teeth." And she grabbed a spoon. And she's like, "But wait a second, I just brushed my teeth." "Yeah, but it takes a spoon." And so the spoons represented her energy. And the amount of spoons the lady had in front of her were completely gone. And she hadn't even left the house yet to be able to go meet this friend. And so the friend with lupus was just showing that our energy level, every ounce of everything we do, takes something from us. And if I do a lot on, say, Wednesday, then I can borrow spoons from Thursday, but now I've got even less spoons for Thursday. So you don't magically make spoons, you're borrowing spoons from another day. So eventually, if you keep borrowing, Friday comes along and you have no spoons left. How are you going to function? How are you going to get out of bed? Because literally getting out of bed takes a spoon. So it's a really neat visual word picture. Sorry, my throat got dry. It's a very cool word picture if you want to read the whole thing. It is long, but if you just Google the spoon theory, it will come up. And it's just a really neat long story of how she took spoons from her friend to show her what it's like with lupus and the energy that it takes to just function day in and day out. So, and that goes to any chronic illness, but she did it because she had lupus.
I'm glad you explained that. Because I've heard you guys talk about the spoon theory, and I kind of got it, but now I really get it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. So
a lot of times it'll be like, "Do you have any spoons left?" My family knows to ask me, "Do you have any spoons left?" So, yeah, it's a thing. Because it is such a good representation. I mean, people used to use batteries and your battery would run out or your gas would run out. But I think the visual of putting all the spoons together and having to take one away for every single thing that you do is a really impactful visual.
I wish I had the ability to eloquently explain something like that. I don't. I'm me, and I just tell you how it is. But I wish I had the ability to teach, to explain how it is, to deal with what I have or you go through or whatever we go through. I don't. That was eloquently said, and that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Because
she did such a good job. I don't want to take credit. I can't remember the lady's name. I'm so sorry, but it really is such a powerful way. And I can't remember how I came across it. I came across it really early on when she first came out with it. Before it really made it huge. I came across it doing something for lupus, looking up something, and it was so impactful. And it's something that I steer a lot of people towards. Anybody that has chronic illness, when you have to fight for each day, it really is a neat visual picture.
I can see it. Now, Helen wants to know, when you get needs, what will this do to them, or do you know?
We have no idea. It's just like when I just had this knee surgery in July. Was it June or July? I can't remember now. I think it was July. July. When I had my knee surgery, I'm really high risk because they are opening my body. They're, even though it was arthroscopic, they're opening parts of my knee, and they're putting foreign things in there, and it's going to freak my body out. So it's, every procedure is high risk for me, and we have to watch me like a hawk afterwards to make sure my body doesn't revolt. So we don't take any procedures that I do very lightly. So yeah, with my knee included, we don't know. I have no idea if the foreign material they put in that they glue to your bone will be accepted, or if my lupus will freak out. So they'll just keep a really close eye on me and watch all my labs. I think I have lab work done like every other week after surgery for a while. So we watch talk.
That's something you don't think about. You need surgery. Oh, okay, let's go do it. And I wouldn't have thought about the tools they're putting into your body. I wouldn't have thought about them affecting you.
Yeah,
A
it does.
question. I've
Yes.
wondered this myself and never had to ask you. Off the medical topic, I'm curious as to what the name Kupaki means.
Okay, so Kupaki comes from Gilligan's Island. My husband watched an episode of Gilligan's Island where they're on the island and they come across the Kupaki headhunters, and they think that Gilligan is their leader, and they have Gilligan's head on the top of a totem, like a replica of Gilligan's head at the top of their totem. And so they think he is like their prime leader or whatever, and they eventually want to kill Gilligan, and so they have to hurry and get away and find their way out and get away from the Kupaki headhunters. And my husband thought the name was hilarious, and so before we even met, he had made Kupaki Enterprises for him to, and it's a business, it's a licensed business and everything, and he was doing consulting work with it, and I just thought the name was funny, and who else is going to put Kupaki on anything? So all of our email addresses have Kupaki in them and all of that. And I'm like, when I decided to do an Instagram page for my art and for my chainmail jewelry, I was like, why don't we just keep with Kupaki? So we got the business name anyway. So I was like, let's just do it. So I did Kupaki art. So it all stems from Gilligan's Island. So now, hopefully, we don't get any weird copyright issues or anything like that. But yes, it comes from a Gilligan's Island episode. So, yeah.
I didn't until now. I do. I haven't seen that show in years. But yeah, that's funny episode. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's just one episode that they're in there. So, just random.
Yeah. Victor will never thought of Gilligan's Island, but there you go.
Yeah.
Lisa, the fun theory is a metaphor created by Christian. Not going to try that name. To help people explain how it feels to live with a chronic condition MS. Simply put, fund its units of energy. Which again, I never understood. I knew kind of what it was, I never understood it. Now let me ask you this. I know the time is taken, but now, are there any routines that you need to stick with religiously, such as sleep, ritual? Can you stay up late? Can you not stay up late? Because I know you don't stay up late.
I try not to stay up late because I can get really bad insomnia. If I let my body stay up too late, then I won't sleep basically all night long. If I hit midnight, I'm pretty guaranteed I will not sleep all night long. I'll stay up all night. I get myself kind of out of sync. And then sometimes I just straight insomnia, which is a result of lupus. So I try to stay on routine for the evenings, but my medication, I try to be really consistent on the time of day I take it. It doesn't really matter. There's not you have to take Plaquenil exactly 12 hours apart or anything like that. I just try to do that because I won't forget But there's nothing really, and I think every lupus patient is different. Like, I have Raynaud's, which is a whole other thing. But it basically is I'm allergic to super cold temperatures and super hot temperatures. And my plaquenil, I'm not supposed to be in the sun direct. So and sun is really bad for lupus. Like all lupus patients, discoid or not, you're not supposed to like go sun tanning. You're supposed to wear sunscreen all day, every day. And then with the cold, if temperatures get too cold, my fingers will go purple and then white, and I lose all the circulation in the tips of my fingers and my toes. And they call it Raynaud's. So I have to be careful with that kind of stuff. So there's really not a routine, but I'm conscientious, like being out in the sun, even like driving your car. If it's going to be a sunny day, I got to make sure I have sunscreen on my arms in my face, because the sun coming through my windows. I have to be conscientious of those things, but there's not really per se a routine. I should get 8 hours of sleep. That doesn't always happen, but I try. So
I also, when I get super cold, right now I'm chilling. I'm shivering. I'm not sure. I'm shivering. I'm shaking cold. When I get too cold and I think, and I will do the same, and I actually cannot even pick this up because I can't straighten my hand, and my hand draw in anyway. So I can't move. I don't have the strength to move. So it's amazing what the cold does to me. The hot makes me so weak that I can't hold my head up. So,
yeah, I can see my energy sap in the sun. It's pretty wild. It's a really wild thing to watch happen. So,
hi, Laura and Stacey. Thank you for
oh,
coming.
yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Eve, I see your question about my jewelry. I used to sell it a lot. I have not put any up for sale in a while. But I'm getting back into it to be able to sell it again. So I kind of have put it on the back burner for a while. Tammy, I'm going to do a selfless plug, but I've got some donations of some of my jewelry for Diamonds in the Rough. So just throwing it out there. You're the first to know, besides Ditsy. But yep, I'm donating some pieces that I've made for Diamonds in the Rough. So it kind of kickstarted me to get back into making my chainmail stuff more consistently. So yeah, so I'll probably have it up for sale again here soon. I probably hope maybe by the end of the year. I'm not stressing myself on it. I'm trying to just have fun with it. So
do it as you can. Don't stress. Don't hurry. Robin wants to know, do you have problems with blood vessels breaking in your fingers?
Not really. Mine are really actually constrict to no blood flow happens. So I kind of have the opposite. I don't have a rupture. I usually lose all blood flow to my fingertips. Like I have to wear fuzzy socks all the time because the circulation of my feet gets so bad. I don't get enough blood pumped to them. And when they get cold, and then they turn purple and they hurt really bad. So,
Helen said she had insomnia. She had then died, but she had insomnia, and most days don't sleep until after 7 a.m.
Brutal.
I would say I had insomnia. Rick says I'm a vampire, so either way, I do the same Helen nightly.
I recently heard of a term, and it's not a legit medical term, but it's called painsomnia. Helen, I don't know your story, but I know I now noticed it, and I don't mean to say that, because I saw this term now, I believe it. But on really bad pain days, it's so hard to fall asleep. I believe this whole painsomnia thing, that you're in so much pain, it's hard to get your body and your mind to relax enough to fall asleep. So it's not a legit medical term, but I guess a lot of patients are now referencing it and calling it painsomnia. And I think that's really brilliant because I feel like that is a thing.
And you want to sleep because
Yeah.
I do, because then I'm not in pain. But I can't sleep because I'm in pain.
Yeah.
It's a, yeah. She said that her, she didn't read that down. Read that. She
That
said that she had nerve issues with feelings and endless like that's how mine is. Light hit and it's associated with fibromyalgia. Well, then this is that.
So I have fibromyalgia as well. And fibromyalgia is kind of described as unexplainable pain. They're researching it more, but the generic description is fibromyalgia is generalized, generic, body-wide pain that they can't pinpoint to a specific thing. You basically have hypersensitive nerves. So you'll just hurt. So I have that as well. From all of my understanding and all of my research, fibromyalgia and Raynaud's go hand in hand. So you could have fibromyalgia and have that painful fingertips and never get the Raynaud's diagnosis. I actually got my Raynaud's diagnosis before I got my fibromyalgia diagnosis. So my understanding with a lot of autoimmune diseases, they all kind of crisscross. Like lots of lupus patients have fibro. But not all fibro patients have lupus. They may have rheumatoid arthritis or something else. So a lot of all the autoimmune stuff all crams together. So
Dick said she had earrings and let them off, and I didn't read this, and I wrote down that what she said. It said down that Luther said just take on different symptoms. And the third fibromyalgia, that I've often wondered if I'm not had that too. Because I just feel so hypersensitive sometimes to touch. It hurt. It hurt. I mean, it really
my doctor will touch pain spot, like, pressure points that are typical of lupus and fibro to be like sensitive. And I have literally jumped off the table when he has pressed on him. And he'll be like, oh, we're a little sensitive today. And I'm like, you think?
Yeah.
So,
I had neuropathy too. And really bad in my toes. And I mean, so bad that my mom walked by the other day and I told great, I mean, just great her house built. And I could have jumped off the bed. It really hurt so bad. It just
the way, like for me, between my fibro and my lupus, I'm sorry, I cut you off, Tammy, but I want to say that, like, to your point, and I think this is a great way to explain it. This is how I explain it to my husband a lot, is I'll be like, it's sunburn day. Anybody that's had a really bad sunburn and it hurts to put clothes on, it hurts when somebody touches you. When you have a bad skin pain day or then your neuropathy, the best way I can explain it to people, and I just say it's a sunburn day, is it feels like somebody smacked the crud out of you right on top of your sunburn. Because that's like a pain I think most people can relate to, is that just sharp, want to scream kind of pain. And so when I'm hurting and Steve goes to hug me and I'll be like, sunburn day. And so he kind of does the like, okay, here's a little baby hug. And you'll see a lot of times when I message people, I'll put gentle hugs because it's like, I'm like, okay, lightly hug. Don't give the good squeeze hug. It's a light hug day. That's the easiest way. So I'm assuming, Tammy, I don't have the neuropathy, but I would assume that it's kind of like that same, like very sharp, painful pain, like somebody just smacked a sunburn.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect analogy. I never would have thought of it, but yeah, that's perfect. And it seems like everybody to agree in, to what you said. Now, I do want to ask, and did you tackle her people?
I will let Missy tackle hug me, and then I will make her gentle hug me after that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get in a full armor suit when I see her, so I don't topple over like a tree, you know. Um, before we go, I do want to ask you just your diamond painting.
Oh yeah.
Non-therapeutic to me. Um, it helped me with my pain. Does diamond painting help you at all mentally, physically?
It does. Like, it really does. It relaxes me and kind of gets me off the planet. Um, but due to like pain and hurting, I really can only diamond paint about an hour increments. So I can diamond paint for about an hour and then I have to step away from it because my body will start aching. So that's partly why I'm a really slow diamond painter, is because I'm lucky to get 2 hours in a day diamond painting. I typically only get one, because that's about all my body will give me sitting at my table. I'm doing it. Even if I'm doing it from the couch, just about anywhere, I've got about an hour. And I think it's the fine movement of the pen and that kind of steadiness, because I'm not always steady. So I have to kind of work at it a little bit. So it is very mentally therapeutic. It does relax me. Like, it just makes me feel calm. It gets me off the planet. I love it. But on the flip side, it does put strain on my body. So yeah, I don't think I've ever really been able to diamond paint more than 2 hours, which is going to make this retreat in June really interesting, because I know a lot of people diamond paint for hours on end. I will probably be the annoying gnat that gets up every hour and walks the room, and everybody's like, why is she moving again? That will probably be me the whole retreat, because I can't sit for longer than an hour without hurting.
Well, I did it opposite because we all know me. Come on. I've always been talking to you guys, and you all just sitting there done painting away, and I'm sitting on a drill, and I stop and I tell a story for 10 minutes, and I'll tell another drill, and I'll stop and tell a story for 10 minutes. And Mom comes in here and she says, what I get done. I come in here and you're talking away, you're not looking down, they never look at you, and you never take your eyes off them. I'm like, yeah, I know, I gotta see people when I talk, that help that. So I was the one to not diamond paint at the retreat. But Jenny, thank you so much for coming on here and telling your stories. You
And I
don't walk around
please
every
know,
day.
I
No,
do want, I want
I
hugs
do
from everybody. I do want big hugs from everybody. So the first big hug, I want to be a great big hug. And then I'll probably do gentle hugs after that. But I expect a good squeeze from everybody, at least one good squeeze from everybody. So
I'm gonna
yeah.
get one when I see her. I can't hurt a fly, but I'm still gonna try because I'm so
I'm still
excited.
getting a hug from you in June. So
I
we're
don't
still getting.
walk around every hour. I do the down there every hour, just saying, same thing.
Well, and I'm sorry that I talked over you, but I knew we were wrapping up, and I really wanted to acknowledge Eve really quick and say I do expect a hug. So
Yeah, that's why I pinned that up there, because I knew that I wanted that thing. I was gonna read that Eve's gonna ask her. I wouldn't ask her. Just come on, just
yeah, I
topple her.
want to squeeze me as hard as you want, Eve, when I see you for the first time. So, and I am
So
sorry for you, Tammy. I just didn't want to go away without telling Eve that she couldn't hug me. So, because I do love hugs, I really do.
So is this your first retreat? It is, isn't it?
It is. It will be my first retreat. So,
You're like not yeah, leave another one. You better look out. He will he's gonna get you. That's for sure. He's
I
gonna get he
nothing
gets you
like.
gonna hit me and unplug that chair. No, that's not happening. I assure you that's not happening. At least you can down and paint even for a small amount of time. It's better than nothing, and that is very true.
Yeah.
So, again, remind everybody when you go live, please, I want to remind everybody that you go live on Saturday at 11 Eastern. Is that right?
Yep,
AM?
and 11 Eastern on Saturdays. So there's an occasional time that I'll have to bump it to the afternoon, but that's because we do amateur radio, and our meetings are every other Saturday in the morning. So sometimes, and I'll make an announcement if it's got to be a later one, but most of the time I'm at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday mornings. So
Yeah. Why did you have to go like live before 1 a.m. and 1 p.m.? Why? Just tell me. But I didn't mention it to her live.
you
I
have
have.
been. I do always post the replay. There's no reason that you don't have to watch the live. I always post the replay, and then I do post the replay on my YouTube. So, yeah, don't ever feel like you have to be there. There's no pressure. I'm just easygoing. I just do it for fun. It's fun to talk to people and all that kind of stuff. So, and this Saturday, I think I'm going to do my logbook. So I know it's the kickoff of Regathon. Did see I'm wearing my shirt. Hold on, let me see.
Oh my God! It is the tip off the Regathon.
Kickoff is Regathon is Saturday, so I know it's Regathon kickoff, but I think I'm going to do my logbook. But I have started my Reagan piece. But yes, so if you don't, I'm plug-in Ditzy, and Regathon is March 1st. Ditzy and Shay, so both of these lovely ladies with Art and Soul are doing Regathon. And then that runs March. And then right after that, on April 1st, is Diamonds in the Rough with Ditzy and myself. So.
Well, first of all, I'm right there with you. And Diamonds in the Rough, that is April the 1st to the what?
April 1st through 30th. So they're both 1 month long. Yeah. So.
I started
they're easy.
That I like that. Oh, Darla said that you loved her more. She was telling Eve that she didn't do this hat. But Down in the Rough is the 1st to the 30th, and that's in April. I think I'm going to flip flop my canvases because my Regathon canvas is not here. Then I there's Halloween. Hey, it's done to Halloween. She's in the 30th. I have a feeling she's going to say something. Oh, no, that's not 30th. That was Rick Living.
Okay.
I want to say thank you to the here. I truly enjoyed having you here.
Thank you for having me, and I didn't mean to keep everybody so long, but I appreciate you all being here and listening to my story and being so supportive. And I'm always open, so DM me on Instagram or send me a message on YouTube or whatever. I'm happy to answer any questions if you come up with something else. I don't mind talking about it. It's part of life. So, yeah, if you have any questions or something comes up or you're like, oh, I didn't really want to ask that, then send me a message and I'm happy to answer. So,
Don't apologize so long.
Oh, well, I didn't intend to. I told Steve, I was like, oh, we'll probably be about 7:30, and here we're at like almost 8 o'clock, and I can keep running my mouth. Tammy, we're bad influences on each other.
I tell them I'm not gonna go take 30 days. So you can't just rush through something like this if you really want to try to tell your story and educate people. And I didn't want to rush. As always, I need the rest. But thank you guys for being here and supporting Jenny. Please check out Redathon, check out Diamonds in the Rough, and then we have Nell from Diamonds in the Dog. She is hosting Night United in May.
Yep.
And if someone could put that link up, I'd appreciate it. And not, I would appreciate it if you put out your own link. You showed it, all your hard work. And Christopher, he was in here. Angel, she just put their link in. I would really appreciate that. I know I would do it a little too late. And just bring the link to put them in, but they're fantastic. And I had to do mods, and I know they'll do it. I have a great team. But don't give me the look, Dorda. Don't You didn't need to look this down. No. I know. Just the LinkedIn, please, please. Thank you. Anyway, so you guys had a wonderful rest of your day, and what about now? I don't know what. Just I'm ignoring you right now. Um, Jenny, I hope you feel better soon.
I
I
will.
just I said you died. Please. I hope you feel better soon. Get some rest and drink something, and I'm not gonna let you keep talking any longer. But guys, remember that if you are having one of those days that you just feel like the whole world is closing in on you, um, don't go through it alone. Call a friend. And sometimes we all need to go through things alone, but just remember that if you didn't need someone, you thought friends. See if they a professional, a counselor, a teacher, a medical physician, I don't care. Just talk to someone, because it's okay. And you can do anything as long as you have love and you love yourself and love others and let them love you. Because I'm going to say it again and again and again. And Jenny, it's just not agree with me that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It had me, and it had Jenny, and it had Kat, and it had so many other people. Eve, I mean, Angel, so many people. I could go here, started on and on and on. And we're all here through each other, and that's why I love this community. It is. And I was a lonely person before I found this community, and I was a lonely person in pain, and that's even worse. Can't say that anymore. Well, I'm in pain, but I'm not lonely. I know any one of you to call and say, okay, I need you. And that's it. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Join Bitsy and Trey and Paul on the kickoff the Redathon on Saturday. Now I'm in a tennis because I'm not at all prepared, which is normal these days. So I'm gonna go here after this one and tip my hair there. I don't know what you all are gonna do, but I'm gonna sit up for the next 2 days because that's how long it takes me. Otherwise, I I can't do it in a day, or I can't done things the next day. So what's the point? But you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next live or the next video. Jenny, you want to say anything?
No, thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit more of me with the community. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody being here and listening. And whether you're watching the replay or watching live, I appreciate the support. And I'm grateful for this community. Truly am. So you guys keep me afloat and keep me wanting fighting. So thank you all very much. And I value each and every one of you. And Tammy, I love you. I'm glad I sent you the awkward message because now I have a forever friend. So.
Me too. I love you so much. You had no idea how much I love you. I was trying to go through and find that message. I was going to read it. I can't find it. I know it's here somewhere. Yeah.
Don't go find it. It was way too awkward. I'm glad you can't find it.
Well, I wouldn't have even asked, so, I would have read it. Sorry.
No.
Anyway, you have to correct that, you don't rest and don't talk anymore. I talk too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take a throat lozenge and take some cough medicine and crash. So, but it has really been a joy. So thank you both. Thank you for everybody. I said thank you both, but thank you to you and thank you for the community too. So appreciate it. So.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you for your support, and we love you, and we'll see you in the next 5 minute video. Good night, guys. Bye.